what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Record, and it's another Monday with Miles Davis. Last week we talked about Sketches of Spain, and this week we're talking about Miles Ahead, and it's another collaboration with Gil Evans. So Gil Evans had worked with Miles in 49 and 50 on the Birth of the Cool sessions, and Gerry Mulligan said this about Gil Evans. Not many people had heard of Gil Evans really until these collaborations with Miles. Those who did came up through the Claude Thornhill band and were tremendously affected. So when Miles signs with Columbia in 1955, one of the things that Columbia wants him to do is have a steady band, a steady quintet that where he can sound like similar on each record. So he gets Philly Joe, he gets Paul Chambers, he gets Red Garland, he gets Sonny Rollins, but Sonny Rollins has to bow out and he takes on Coltrane, and the rest is history. But George Avakian also says this to Miles: why don't you try working outside the confines of the quintet also, and gives him a list of arrangers. Miles sees Gil Evans on that list, and in May of 57, they go in for 4 days of studio work, and then one more day in August of 57. And this album is released in 1957 in late October. This is Miles Ahead. Now, it also says Miles Davis plus 19, because there's 19 members of this band that are working with Miles. And really, this is what people refer to as the third stream movement, which is the synthesis of jazz and classical music. Incidentally, many of you will know that when you look on Spotify and on a lot of other pressings, this is an early pressing, that Miles is playing trumpet on this record. Miles didn't necessarily like her on the cover, And if you think about it, Someday My Prince Will Come and ESP and Phillies of Kilimanjaro and other albums have black women on it. Sorcerer, he didn't like the white B-word girl on the cover, and even though he was kind of being kind of joking when he said that, he probably didn't have this white model on the cover with a kid. Here's the back of this record. This is a cool record. Again, is this going to ring the bell for everybody that loves hard bop? He's playing basically cool jazz, if you will, or smooth jazz with classical music and some big band. He's not playing hard bop in the height of the hard bop era, which is interesting because he's also playing hard bop with his band. This is just take him outside. He's reaching a bigger audience. So this record really works for people that are maybe getting into jazz, maybe some older people that don't want the intensity of bop and want to just chill and appreciate the flugelhorn playing of Miles Davis. So Miles does not play trumpet on this record. He plays flugelhorn throughout. There is trumpet on this record, and we're going to talk about that. This was, again, released in 57, and Art Taylor's on drum, Paul Chambers is on bass, Lee Konitz, who also worked with Miles on Birth of the Cool, is on alto sax, and Wynton Kelly. And again, this thing starts off with a song called Springsville. It's a John Carissy song. Flugelhorn, again at the height of hard bop. Yet it's still soft, it's smooth, and it still swings on this opening track. The band is tight. And I would almost argue, is the band too tight? Because Miles floats in and out with Miles' style, which isn't a perfect style in the sense. And Miles does keep up and can play as tight as these guys, but sometimes I wonder when those big horns come in, if it's too loud and intense for what Miles is doing, or if the mix is just too loud. Maybe just a slight problem I have with this record is that when the band comes in, it's almost jarring, and they're so tight and precise with a 19-piece band. I don't know. The next song is a favorite of mine, The Maids of Cadiz. all these songs flow like a suite. So even though there's 10 songs, it all flows from one to the other without really any interruption. More of a subtle song here. Again, flugelhorn over light classical music. Gorgeous and groundbreaking, though, too. Think about it. I mean, Duke Ellington was doing things like this. Kind of jazz over classical. This is a very good, very interesting, and really kind of groundbreaking. To think that it's been done so many times since. The third song, Duke, is a Dave Brubeck composition. Chambers and Taylor are holding a steady groove while the big band guides the mood. Miles takes a solo at the 150 mark that's awesome. And it really works for me. Signature flugelhorn tune. Not many players were great trumpet players and flugelhorn players. Lots of people tried. And Clifford Brown could do it, but not many people were good at both instruments. Miles is a master at both instruments. The fourth song, Miles Ahead, is the fourth song is My Ship. Delicate horns. Sounds like a summer night, just a serene August night where you can maybe hear the crickets in the background. Just perfect weather. Serene and elegant is what I wrote here. Not overplaying. He says not overplaying. Yeah, he's soloing throughout. He's the only soloist on this record. Nobody else is taking solos. Miles is doing that for us. So he is playing, but he's not the Prince of Darkness here. So if you're looking for a Prince of Darkness album where you get some intense Miles Davis, this really isn't that album for you. And a lot of people don't like this record. And I will say this, I think a lot of people don't like Sketches of Spain and Porgy and Bess as well, but that's a whole nother story. The next song is the only song that Miles had a writing credit on. Miles and Evans collaborated on a song called Miles Ahead, which is the title track. It's a highlight of the record. The highs in his flugelhorn playing are so pretty on this song, just fantastic. It's just a masterwork. It's it's a 3-minute and 29-second song. Blues for Pablo is next. It's another Evans comp. Laid back again tune. It's the longest song on the record. The horn section, again, is the horn section too loud when they come in sometimes? Miles is playing so subtle, and they come in bad, but they come in loud. And I don't know if that could be changed in the mix. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one that hears that. They kind of blast. And Paul Chambers, again, is prevalent throughout. Again, it's a strong composition by Evans on Blues for Pablo. New Rumba is next, which is an Ahmad Jamal song. Some of Miles Davis's best playing on this record. Band again is so tight here. But there's sections of the song where it's just Art Taylor, just Paul Chambers, and just Miles as a little bit of a trio with some lighter orchestral stuff in the background, big band in the background. I really like that song. And then we have Medley Part 1, The Meaning of the Blues. So again, some nice flugelhorn, nice ballad with softer big band contributions. The band really kind of gets it good on song 8 for me, the way that they mash with the way that they've engineered it. And that goes directly into the Lament, which is Medley Part 2, which is written by J.J. Johnson, who is a trombone player who played on Walking, which we talked about a few weeks ago, played on Birth of the Cool, which we will get to. It's smooth and refined. And I love how the songs just seamlessly go into each other. The last song in this record is I Don't Want to Be Kissed by Anyone But You, which is a Harold Spina and Jack Elliott song. Again, just a nice lighter comp with Miles playing flugelhorn. This is a cool record. It really does do a couple things. Miles is about to record Milestones. He's about to then do Kinda Blue. He's about to do, Sketches. And all those cooking, relaxing albums are all coming out at this point, right? Working. This is bringing in a bigger audience. He's becoming a superstar, an international superstar, not just with jazz freaks. And like this album cover shows, it's very accessible to everybody. And, Miles, by the end of the decade, would be the biggest name in popular music, really, along with Frank Sinatra and Louis Armstrong. This is a cool record. We are going to pick a record out for next week and see what we got going on here. Got our little bucket here. And we will be discussing At the Plug Nickel Chicago. Okay, I have it on vinyl. I know that there's been some complete sessions of the recordings. We're just going to deal with the songs that are on the vinyl. So this is live from December 22nd of 65, released in 67. So live, we're talking Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, right? Ron Carter, Tony Williams, Miles Davis, the second great quintet. This is one of the great live albums of all time. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into it all week. Check me out next week. Subscribe to the channel. We do shows every single day if we can. Peace out. See ya. We'll see you next week.